I'm Taylor Zarzour, and this is the OTP. Coach, as we look at what just happened against the Denver Broncos, I'd like to start by talking about the competitive fight that you saw from everyone that suited up for the Titans on Sunday.
That's exactly what I was expecting to see. That's what we've seen from our team from the course of training camp through the preseason. I expected them to play with that kind of effort and that kind of tenacity, and to go into Denver in that environment against that team who has high aspirations and they think of themselves as a contending football team, to go into their place on opening day and fight the way that we fought is going to help us win a lot of games down the road. And we didn't play a clean enough brand of football to win the game, but we play with that kind of effort. We're going to put ourselves in position to win quite a few.
Do you believe in finding a bunch of positives in certain games, regardless of the outcome of who wins or loses the games, and reinforcing positives that happen? Because I know the world wants to ask you about something that went wrong and how you change it, but do you focus on reinforcing something that did go well?
Yeah, there's a balance. I think whether you win or you lose, you do the same things. And we highlight the positives, emphasize what was good, and you correct and teach what wasn't to the standard you expect. And that goes from technique to execution to communication, all the things that go with winning and losing. We try to point out the good and correct the bad and have the same consistency whether you win or lose. And I think that's the best way to do it, because, they say that, both praise and both praise and I'm trying to think of the word, but they're both false prophets,
Yeah. I got you.
You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
That it's and whenever you play a game, it's never as good as you think you played.
Or as bad, yeah.
Or as bad. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle, and our job is to purse through that and make sure we're making the corrections necessary, and then highlighting the things that we got to keep getting better at.
Praise or ridicule, probably.
Yeah, however you want to say it.
However you want to say it, sure. Forcing turnovers is something in one of these rooms that I get to talk to you in. We talked about last Friday. By the way, I'm really good at going to the wrong room. If we want to start scrutinizing me, sometimes I like to go to the Eddie George room. Sometimes I like to go to the Steve McNair room. I think we were in the Steve McNair room, and you said we have to force turnovers against the Denver Broncos. You have to be awfully pleased at getting 4.
Yeah, that was, I think we led the NFL in week 1 in total turnovers, and that was really encouraging just to see that. We do that in most weeks, we're going to win a lot of games. And we didn't complement our defense and special teams well enough offensively to go score touchdowns. One touchdown in one of those spots would have probably won that game for us. So that part is disappointing. We didn't capitalize, but to see our effort and intensity to go get the ball was exactly what we've emphasized over the course of training camp. And to see that come to fruition in the first week was a critical part of being in the game that we were in.
Special teams, too. Joey Sly put on a pregame, in-game, halftime performance for the ages. I told Amy Wells this just a moment ago, and I have to tell you this, too, because you used to coach in Denver. In the warm-ups, Denver fans were cheering for him as he was hitting it 10 yards past the crossbar from 60-plus yards. He was phenomenal in his debut. So was Johnny Hecker.
Yeah, I think our specialists, and we can't leave out Morgan. Morgan did a great job too. But those 3 guys are veteran players, and they performed at the level you would expect those guys to play at. I think, I issued a challenge to Johnny Hecker early in the week. It's him versus Mims, and Mims is the AFC Pro Bowl returner, and distance and hang time and directional punting was a critical part of the game plan, and I thought he executed that almost flawlessly. We got great coverage from our gunners as well on the outside, but Hecker was fantastic. Sly has been fantastic all through this process for us, and you can see his leg is a legitimate weapon. And, I was tempted to kick maybe one a little bit further than I normally would in that situation because of the altitude, but he was fantastic. So really, really pleased with the performance of the special teams. I think you have to throw Chim Dike in there as well as a rookie dual returner to rip off a 70-yard return on a kickoff and handle the punts and field them and fair catch them and make good decisions was really good to see.
Yeah, we have to give Captain Morgan Cox a shout out. He runs that room. He's fantastic. Do you think on the Marvin Mims muffed punt, do you think that maybe Van Jefferson and or Bryce Oliver being in his kitchen, if you will, hearing the footsteps. Do you think that impacted?
100% was Van.
Yeah.
I mean, that's first and foremost is Johnny's punt and the hang time that allowed Van to go cover it. But Van had an unbelievable rep. He beat the corner clean, unabated line to the returner, and that feeling is uncomfortable for returners, and he's the one that forced that muff, and that was a huge play in the game.
Yeah, and it's always fun to see a guy that hasn't been around a team very long, like Dorian Maosi, who recovered that fumble and got the ball back for the Titans. All right, I have a few more shout-outs to give here. Oluwafemi Oladejo, first game in the National Football League. What'd you think?
I thought he did some really good things. He rushed hard. He crushed the pocket, and that was part of the game plan, was to try to keep Nix from moving around a lot. They moved the launch point a bunch, but when he was in the pocket, we kept him in there, and Femi was a big part of that. And he set really violent edges in the run game, and that's really what he does well, and that was good to see. It's not too big for our rookies. I think we had 4 starters in the game that were rookies, and I think 6 maybe of the 6 of the 9 of the draft class played, significant snaps either on special teams or offense and defense. 7. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of young players, and it wasn't too big for any of them. And that's a really tough environment to play in. And proud to see what those guys performed like, their composure, their poise, and their play. They all played pretty good for us, and it wasn't perfect, but it was encouraging.
Roger McCreary had an interception, so did Xavier Woods, and I know that Captain Hooker, Amani Hooker, with his brand-new contract with the Tennessee Titans, really wanted that pick 6, but you have to be proud of putting himself in that position.
Yeah, those guys in the back end played really well. I mean, they held that passing game in check, and Hook was a big part of it along with Roger. To be able to keep everything disciplined, the coverage lanes were restricted. There wasn't a lot of space down the field. And they forced Nix into some poor decisions that ultimately ended up in turnovers. And I was really pleased with the way that they played in pass coverage, all those guys in the back end, but Hook and Roger as well. Really, really disciplined coverage technique, eyes, all those things. That was good to see.
Anything else defensively, Coach, that we should mention before we transition to offense?
I mean, I think, Jeff Simmons was disruptive all day. He played the way we need him to play. Can't have the penalty at the end, obviously. But outside of that, and he was a force to be reckoned with, and that was really good to see from him.
Yeah, and you had Cody Barton out there in the middle of the defense against his old team. Sebastian Joseph Day made some good plays. Tavondre Sweat, tackle for loss to give the ball back to the Titans. Denard Wilson's defense played hard against one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I thought Denard did a great job calling it. There was a good mix. I wish we just got that big run on the ground, the one that popped out. That would have made a really nice cap on a really good day defensively. But I was proud of the way they played, the way they fought. There's some things we got to clean up for sure. But we're in pretty good position defensively, and I like the way that they played.
When you bring Hellman's Creamy Buffalo Chicken Dip to the watch party, you can cheer too loud, or block the TV, or be a couch coach, and no one will eject you from the game. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans. This summer, SeatGeek has your ticket to the best live concerts in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. SeatGeek makes it easy to catch world-conquering tours and high-wattage performances from your favorite artists all summer long. SeatGeek has the best seat, your seat, for an unforgettable summer. From rock royalty to rap superstars, R&B to country, find it all on SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of Nissan Stadium. It's your summer. Make it count. SeatGeek. Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up. Now back to the OTP.
What did you think of your brand new quarterback in his first game, Cam Ward?
I think what stood out the most with Cam was his poise in the environment. I wasn't sure what he was going to be like on game day, and I didn't know how that would feel for him in his first game. His poise, his calm demeanor, his command of the operation were all really, really encouraging. He made some really nice throws. We got to do a better job helping him. We had too many drops. from the receivers all the way around. And then the protection got a little bit loose at times. I mean, that's the best pass rush in football at the moment. They got more sacks than anybody last year, and there's a reason for it. They got good players. And we didn't do a great job negating the rush the way that we would have wanted to. But even under duress, Cam never flinched. And from an opening day, what do you take from a day that statistically wasn't as good as you'd want to be is the encouragement for what it's got a chance to look like as we keep moving forward. And that part was really, really awesome to see.
Yeah, and it stings when it doesn't go your way, and you probably like that it stings for those guys. It has the fire that you want. I mean, he is a competitor. But also something that I've noticed, Coach, is just how much he wants from you and how much you seem to appreciate coaching him. Getting on the plane and just seeing him next to you, asking questions. That guy constantly wants to do not just what it takes on the field, but away from the field too.
He's very driven to be a great player, and that is really fun to be around as a coach. He's receptive to information. He gives you good feedback. We have good conversations. Our relationship just is going to continue to grow. And that was my first time calling plays in a real game with him.
Right.
And we're learning each other too. That's a part of this process as well. And you don't build that relationship as a play caller and a quarterback unless you spend a lot of time together talking about all these things. And I love his perspective on the game. I love his outlook on what the quarterback position is. And I'm going to keep coaching him and keep helping build him and into the caliber of NFL player I think he's capable of becoming.
It really sounds to me, after listening to what you said after the game, what you said to the media, what you're saying right here, that what went wrong for the Titans is correctable, and it's correctable with more experience and more reps. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's the encouraging part of that game, and it didn't go the way we wanted to. We made too many mistakes, but as you said, they're all things that are very much things that we can control. Every team you play in this league is going to have reps where you get beat. They have good players too. They pay them a lot of money as well. So there's going to be that back and forth. But the things that I'm encouraged by is that those are all the issues we had are all very correctable. I think Cam's only going to get better when it comes to playing the position each week he plays. And that's an important part of his development is he just has to keep playing along with all the other young players we have out there that are going to keep growing and learning. But very encouraged about a lot of things in the game. I know no one likes to hear that after losses. It's everything's terrible, but there is a lot of really good things to take from that, and we got to do a better job of improving those things, and we got to do it at a fast pace because we got another good team coming in.
Home is at the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. Genesis is the first and only official jeweler of the Titans, having earned that title since 2006. Titans players, coaches, and fans trust Genesis for the absolute best in selection, quality, customer service, and of course, value. For diamonds, engagement rings, designer fashion jewelry, and the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Tennessee, Genesis is the hands-down winner. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. Little Caesars is the official pizza partner of your Tennessee Titans. Download the Little Caesars app and get your favorites delivered today. Delivery fees apply. Now back to the OTP.
As they tossed it to me to start this broadcast, first broadcast with the Tennessee Titans, I talked about what the Tennessee Titans are doing to lay a championship foundation. And one of the things I said is that culture precedes performance, but it also delivers it. Meaning if you have the right kind of culture, it will lead to winning. But you have to lay the culture down first in order for that performance to come. And this offseason, it has been a real privilege to see what you're doing, and of course the entire organization is doing, to create that culture. Can you give everyone listening just a sense of what that process has been like?
Yeah, that's an in-depth, probably long-winded answer for most of the time, but to make it short and sweet and to the point, we've improved in a lot of areas, and we've improved in the way that we communicate. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the intentionality of it. We've improved the connection. We've improved our leadership, and while I think we may not have started the way that we wanted to, I think your point is correct, that foundation is being laid and it will pay off sooner than later. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an immediate week one win for us, but I think what you're going to see from our team over the course of this season is all the values that we want to see, both from a personal standpoint and a football execution standpoint, continue to get better and grow, because those are the things we've been working on for 6 months. There's a lot of intentionality behind why we do things, what we do them for, and it will show up. But that doesn't happen unless you're doing it the way we've done it for the last 6 months. And there's, the old brick by brick philosophy where it's going to take that building of experience. But these guys, they're all in, and they love being around each other. They're about the right stuff. We work the right way. I have a lot of faith and confidence in our football team and our coaching staff that we're going to continue to build this the way it's supposed to be, and that culture will deliver those wins for us.
The Los Angeles Rams are coming to Nashville to play the Titans at noon on Sunday. Yep. Tell us about the Rams. They just beat the Houston Texans.
Very good football team. Sort of starts and ends with Matthew Stafford, old friend of mine, still playing at an incredibly high level. Their defense, though, is another really good unit. They pressure the quarterback at a rapid rate. They got good young players on defense. Puka Nacua is one of the premier receivers at this point in the league, and a lot of their offense runs through him. But it's well coached. They've had a history of not beating themselves, and they put themselves in great position, and they got a trigger at the quarterback spot that can go win them a game when they need it. Another tough test. Again, a playoff caliber football team that gets to come into our place, and we gotta play with the same effort and intensity and just better execution to put ourselves in position to go win in week 2.
You talked about in the preseason going to Tampa and then Atlanta, so you'd see two different things. Was that to prepare yourself to see Denver and then to see the Rams, to see two different teams?
Absolutely. That was all very intentional. All the different scheme we saw from those two teams, as well as our own, and then you add in Minnesota at the end of the preseason. Everything was built towards giving our team as many exposures to as many different schemes as possible over the course of training camp. So we got some foundation and some things to fall back on when we face them. But the Rams got a unique scheme. They've done a really good job there on defense. Their offensive scheme is usually one of the best in football, and they got another tough test.
Have a great week, Coach.
Thank you.
For Brian Callahan, I'm Taylor Zarzour. This has been the OTP.